Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, Alexa, do you know that Amazon's shutting you down?
Wrong, Alexa.
Google's December update was a big one. And do inbound links even matter anymore? You're listening to news from The Edge for the week of December 13th, 2021, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, owner of Site Strategics. Every week, we bring you amazing guests to chat with about trending digital marketing topics. Each week, we're covering the SEO and digital marketing news separate from our weekly interview to get you news faster so you can do your digital marketing work week even more prepared. Right? That's what we're trying to do here at Edge. Make sure to check out all the recent shows over at edgeoftheweb.radio.com. That's edgeoftheweb.radio.com. This is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. And joining me to get his take on all things digital, he's back in his seat. He is the co-host of Edge of the Web. That's Mordy Oberstein, head of communications over at SEMrush. Mordy, are you with us? What's happening in Mordy's world, sir?
We're back from vacation, which is nice.
Yeah.
Now the whole world is now shut down again because of Omicron.
That sounds like a transformer, doesn't it?
It does. My wife's like, is that a transformer? I'm like, yeah, something like that. They shut down the country here because there was like 5 cases of it and no one knows what the hell's going on. So I love the fact that like almost 2 years in this, we're back at like square one again.
Right.
So wait, did I just hear that Morty went on vacation and now the whole world is shut down?
Pretty much. That's what I heard.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah, that's how it went. They're like, whoa, you're traveling? Let's shut that down.
Following the thread.
Yeah, you're supposed to be back at work. Stay at work, right? Don't go on vacation.
Right. What's been going on here? I hear you had Andrew Optimize on, and
we did.
Maybe you should replace me with him.
Why would we do that?
Based on last week's podcast, I just want to know.
Oh,
it was clearly an upgrade, obviously.
You listened to that, did you?
I listen. Yeah, when I'm gone, I listen.
You were supposed to listen to that.
Shouldn't, clearly. In case you're wondering, if you don't, it's your first time listening. I was away last week. The wonderful Andrew Optimize filled in, and y'all trashed me behind my back.
No, that was not trashing.
We named an action after you.
Yeah.
What was it again?
You aspire to that. I mean, if you can actually be a verb, right?
You said you really Mortied that up.
It's a beautiful thing.
You know, that doesn't sound like that's a good thing.
Well, no one ever says it about me.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, well, you probably. I just haven't heard it yet. You really pulled a Jacob on that
one. It's the Simpsons like that. Oh, you pulled a Homer.
Yeah. See, it's all how you. It's all inflection. It really is. So we were Mortying it to a level of success that nobody's ever seen before. See, it's all how you say it.
No one's buying your lies. No one's buying your lies.
Well, we're happy to have you back, sir, and hopefully it was a well-deserved vacation, well rested. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Nice. I'm glad it was nice. Some of us actually have to work for a living over here.
Oh, look at you. You know what you should call me from now on? Not the Mel had a great line on Twitter in response to you. It's like, oh, Captain Grumpy Pants.
Oh my gosh, he did say that, didn't he?
Mordy Oberstein, head of communications at SEMrush, and Captain Grumpy Pants.
No, you're not grumpy.
That makes sense. I am Captain.
You're not grumpy at all.
I'm a ball sunshine.
Wow. Well, with that, the sun is setting on Alexa. How about that? That was a segue right there.
You want a cookie?
From Search Engine Journal from Roger Montti, Alexa.com. No, not the Alexa, not the Echo device. See, I kind of played that up at the beginning. Not the Echo. Alexa.com announced it will be retiring its marketing services after 25 years. Founded in 1996, Alexa was subsequently acquired by Amazon in 1999. I tell you what, I've used that application many a year. It's sad to see it go, but it did kind of have its time in the sun, it started to get some black marks, so to speak, with it potentially skewing towards more Korean sites in its ranking. But have you certainly used it over time,
Yeah,
Morty?
I haven't used it in a long time actually.
No,
Like when I first got into the industry, like that was the thing. It was Alexa Rank. That's what I used. But I haven't used that in a while. There are other tools that are better.
there are other tools that are better. We know a few of them.
It used to be you should check, Alexa, a bunch of other scores. That was one of the major scores. And then I don't know. I just kind of I don't know why. It was like, oh, I questioned this data. It's more like that seems irrelevant now. John Mueller wrote a poem about it.
A
Going
poem
away.
about Alexa? About
Yeah, you got to go find it online. He did it to the song of "Imagine" by John Lennon. Basically, like,
Wait, did he sing it or just read it? Or just write
no,
it?
he didn't. I mean, he probably read it after he tweeted it or before he tweeted it, I would assume. But he tweeted it. I think you're looking for wrote it.
Ah, yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Yes, he
It's
did.
in between singing and reading is writing.
Right. The different kind of right.
Right.
Affirmative.
There we go.
Yes.
Well, it was a metric that offered.
You really Morty that one up.
Now, see, that's a negative connotation,
Sure
and you
did.
shouldn't be using it that way. So in the early 2000s, data was collected with the Alexa toolbar that users downloaded and surfed with. Toolbars collected web traffic information from users, which fed into the Alexa rank. Not unlike Chromium field testing by Google Chrome, but that's fine. Criticisms were lodged at Alexa rank that the data was more relevant to Asian countries than in English-speaking countries. It was based on the rumor that the Alexa toolbar user base was heavily weighted towards users in Korea and not users in English-speaking countries like the U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the U.K. Yeah.
It's so random. I'm like, it's like, yeah, who picked? Let's skew it. What country? I don't know. How about Korea?
Roll the dice. All right. But one search marketer in 2005 forum discussion remarked, isn't it time for Amazon to throw in the towel for Alexa? For a company that does so many things right, Alexa is really a blight on their reputation. Why would they want to be associated with such garbage? They had a lot of really good tools in there that were good for their day. Some great tools about backlink information. They had a $149 plan that was content exploration, competitive content analysis, topic research, top publishers by topic, competitive analysis, and the like. A lot of good tools in there. And like I said, I think I actually liked it for a larger, not so much the granular pieces, but more competitive analysis between media companies and be able to understand organic marketplace ownership of different domains. I mean, it was on its top level. It was a good competitive tool, but that at the granular level, it kind of lost its luster a long time ago.
Basically, yeah. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it did.
Well, we're going to say goodbye to
There's only
Alexa.
one, Alexa.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
All right. Yeah, I know where we're going here. So, Alexa, hang up.
You wish it was that easy.
Yeah, exactly. From search engine land over with Barry SChwartz. Google's December 2021 product reviews update was bigger than the April product reviews update, says data providers. On December 1st, Google began to roll out the second product review update of the year, December 2021 product reviews update. This was at the tail end of the November 2021 core update that finished rolling out the day before on November 30th. So we've talked about this a little bit here, and you did a good deal of analysis on the November rollout there, but you're also bringing out some SEMrush data regarding this product reviews rollout and the competitive or the comparison to the product reviews rollout, update rollout in April. Rank Ranger was also out there showing the demonstration of volatility of the top 3 results, top 5, and top 10 results. And the top 3 results were 52% level of volatility compared to 38% of the April rollout and 77% volatility in the top 5. Now, before we go any further, because we got a lot more data here to go through, Morty, what is volatility? I just want to reinforce this regularly for our listeners. I know it's
It depends how you're tracking it.
Right.
Like the way that SEMrush is tracking it versus the way that Rank Ranger is tracking it is different. I know because I helped create the Rank Ranger database. So if you think about it, I'm responsible for all of the data in that post in one way.
Pretty much. You are correct there. I saw Mordy. See, he really Mordied this one. This was.
I really Mordied that one. Yeah. You guys are Rank Ranger. Like, oh, damn it. You had to do that to us. It depends what you're in a nutshell. Like what's universal, you're tracking some sort of baseline that you're using as your period of stability. Now, keep in mind, your period of stability can be very volatile. It's just that's what normal stability is.
Right.
Right. Normal stability is very volatile. Not normal stability is extremely volatile. Okay. So it's a relative is what I'm trying to say. It's not an absolute value.
Right.
And you're saying, okay, this baseline that I'm looking at, the normal amount of rank movement, rank fluctuations, how does that compare now versus to this baseline that I'm looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. The Rank Ranger data is looking at a little bit differently than that. They're looking at the top 5 results during the baseline. How many of them exactly match during the non-baseline period, during the update period? In other words, so you have site A, B, C, D ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, or E would be 5. Are they the same results in the same order during the update? What percentage of time is that matching or not matching, which is a little bit different way of checking volatility. The SEMrush database is looking just like you would look at an index, like overall, what's the volatility of the baseline relative to the update period. So
a couple different perspectives, and you kind of have to look at them as overlaps on.
Yeah, look at the trends.
Right.
Look at the trends. Like never look. I always like don't look at the exact data with these kind of things in general. Look at where the trends are.
Now, Rank Ranger pulled out even niche industry specific volatility as well. And again, those metrics.
So did SEMrush.
Yeah.
So did SEMrush.
I'm going down the screen.
Okay.
All right.
You know that because you didn't read the article.
Oh my gosh. Of course I read the article, and
I wouldn't want you to Mordy the article.
Then it would be a wonderful article. See, he's fighting against the grain. I'm trying to make.
When you lie to your wife like that, does she believe you?
So this SEMrush data here.
I'm not an idiot.
SEMrush team first sent their data. The overall December fluctuations and volatility also peaked at much higher rates than the April product reviews update. That the company said that the volatility highs seen during December are actually far greater than what was recorded in the April update. Is that the case? Because
yes, that's the case.
That is.
When Sparry says the company,
that's you.
It's Mordy. Yeah. I mean, I represent the company. It's true. It's not lying.
That is absolutely.
Yeah.
true.
So okay. So no, okay. This data was very, very tricky because you're comparing 2 very different periods in ranking history. Let's call it. The general volatility that you saw back in April was far less than what you see now, which makes it hard to compare. I mean, you could. I would have to go much deeper than I did in order to actually do a real comparison.
And this year,
so it makes it a little bit tricky.
And like, this year has been the most volatile.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the like I said before, the levels of volatility during the baseline period can just be different. They're much higher right now than they were back in April in general. Nothing to do with the update. Like when I was sending this data over to Barry, going like back and forth, like how do we word this? Because it's really kind of tricky. And Barry did a very good job of kudos to Barry. He didn't Mordy the article. He did a great job of balancing all the complexity and putting it into a very simple kind of way. But it's complicated because you're seeing more volatility now, right? I'm sorry, back in April, 44%, right?
Right.
But that's because the normal baseline was so low that when the update came out, oh, wow, what an increase.
Yep.
Whereas now it's still the same kind of increase, let's say, but your baseline period is already starting at a higher point.
You can't.
That's why the second graph is there.
You cannot
That's why the
compare those
second
two because the baselines are wholly different.
You'd have to normalize it and do a whole lot of other stuff that I didn't have time to do to it.
From an analogy standpoint, okay, if you're sailing an ocean on calm seas or choppy seas, the wave's going to be bigger and bigger on choppy seas. So this is what we're experiencing here.
Yes.
So the question.
On the other hand, right, the peaks are much higher, right?
Yep.
Here.
Yes, they are.
Which makes sense because, well, again, is that because volatility in general is higher, or this one's more impactful? I think that one depends on the niche, by the way. Like shopping, for example, is always very high. So you see, wow, it really the peak level of volatility in December is way higher than back in April. I think for shopping, that's not as like, okay, like that shopping is always very volatile. For some of the other niches, those huge spikes here in December are very significant because their normal levels are so much lower. What you can do is you can go to the December sensor, look at it by category, go to Home and Garden and see like, oh, wow, it's so low usually. During the product review update, it's so much higher. Okay, like that's the product review update at work.
Do we have comparisons to now? I know that these core updates didn't happen at the same time last year, but there were some baselines, right? There were baseline volatilities in April of 2020 and December of 2020. Right. Just contextually referencing that as well, showing look at how different the proportion of changes were in April as well as December.
I think if Barry did a whole 5-10-page article on it, you would include that sort of data on it. But
yeah. So again, what we're talking about, people, is know that the context is wholly different than anything that you've seen here before in level of volatility. And SEMrush Sensor is not only just going to give you the niche industry volatility, SEMrush is also a really good tool to be able to reference your own volatility as well if you're using that inside of your project.
You can connect the sensor to your position tracking and say, yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yep.
But like and end of the day, there's some data that says like, hey, the April update was a little bit more impactful. There's some data that's showing that the December update's more impactful. They're both pretty big and they're both smaller than your average core update.
That's a larger concept. They're both smaller than the average core update.
Which makes sense because they're only dealing with a tiny corner of the universe, product review.
Exactly. Well, thank you for that, and appreciate everybody's tolerance. As we have to educate you guys sometimes on what the context is. That's why I asked them to do it.
It's so important when you look at the rank. It's so important to you look at the weather tools. SEMrush Sensor, rank index, Mozcast.
Right.
Like, oh, it's high today. Or it's low today. Rank is stable. No, rank's not stable. Just the normal. This is just a normal non-stable that you're seeing every day. It's normally not stable.
This is a new normal.
It's the new normal.
God, I hope not. I hope that and you made another piece here a while back regarding the year of volatility and how volatile it has been. When could we even predict? We just can't. We can't predict any level of calm seas.
That's a SERP by SERP thing, like keyword by keyword.
Right.
Some keywords are very stable. Some keywords are a hot mess.
Yeah.
Those keywords that are very stable, great. The keywords that are a hot mess, maybe not worth trying to go for that because you're going to be bouncing around anyway.
What do you do with that? You just have to.
I don't know. I personally, I wouldn't touch that. Or I wouldn't make that my first priority.
Right.
If I see a keyword everybody's bouncing around every day,
no, stay away from it.
How much traffic am I going to really get from that?
And you can't even predict it because it's going to be doing the hokey pokey, right? It's hokey pokey SEO. All right. We are proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web. We're pioneers in the agile digital marketing methodology. Our core specialty are technical SEO as well as core web vitals optimization, search engine marketing, social media marketing management, and focus on conversion optimization that focus on results-based marketing that actually works for you. So if you're interested in what Site can do for you, give us a shout at 877-SEO for Web or 877-736-4932. By the way, we also take faxes as well. Third article from Ahrefs from Patrick Stox. He's been on the show before as well. Do links still matter for rankings? There's a headline and a half there. Past few years, Patrick Stock has seen more people saying that links are dead. They don't matter for rankings. They've lost their importance. Links are a confirmed major ranking factor. So he figured he'd do an interesting test on this. Now this I got to say, it's probably one of the more brave tests that I've seen in a heck of a long time. So what he did is he decided to actually disavow all links going to 3 of their top blog posts. He disavowed, in one fell swoop, 3,476 links across their 3 blog posts. He actually uploaded it on August 17th and then removed it 4 weeks later on September 14th. With that gap, he was wanting to make sure that all the links had time to be able to be crawled, and he thought that a month would be the case for that. So what was the impact of disavowing the links? Well, the traffic dropped, immediate drop in traffic when he uploaded the disavow file. The downward trend continued for a while as more and more pages linked to the blogs were crawled. And there was an immediate lift when he removed that disavow file, which is also really interesting in its own right, that there's no long-term ramifications for that type of sizable disavow. So, Mordy, with what Patrick was doing, let alone why not test it on your own stuff? But what's your take?
That's some cojones right there.
Yeah, I'm saying. But what do you think about it? I mean, there's an obvious thing right here of how strong the linking signal is, right?
I mean, well, yeah and no. I mean, first, Patrick is a brilliant guy, and it's a really cool study. It's really interesting to see that that's what happened. I mean, I wonder if Google saw that as like a very drastic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if they disavowed 80% of their links, if the same thing would have happened or not.
Right.
Right, but they disavowed everything. Like, what the hell just happened here? Something's going on with this page.
Right.
But it's really interesting to see how long it takes Google to get back to it. Also, you have to keep in mind there were a couple of updates around the same time. But it's a really fascinating study. I am a little bit skeptical about how oh my gosh, if there's again, if you're disavowing all of your links and that's like something very it's sending a shockwave into the Google system, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, like, the takeaway, I'm not sure if Patrick meant it this way, that the takeaway is, well, like, if you don't have any links, or if you lose a bunch of links, you're going to lose all your traffic. I don't think that's the takeaway here. That would be basically saying, like, links and nothing else matters kind of thing.
Right.
But it definitely reaffirms the idea that, yeah, links are still really important. And I don't know why there's this camp that says links are really important and they're everything versus links are nothing and they're not really important at all. Clearly, the truth is somewhere in the middle, I would say.
I think you're right, and I think my takeaway here is how quickly Google responded to dropping that traffic, dropping that visibility.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's very, like, they noticed that.
Immediately.
Whether or not it means, like, hey, disavowing all the links sent Google a weird thing they couldn't figure out,
right,
like what's going on this page, or whether or not, like, hey, no links, we're dropping your rankings, however you want to take that.
Mm-hmm.
That was very quick. That was a very cool study.
It was interesting enough. He did a screen grab on his disavow file, right? And I would expect that any domain would be regularly disavowing, but he had to clear the 3,476 on those 3. So that means that potentially, if they had a previous disavow file, they yanked that down too. I don't.
Or they weren't disavowing.
Or they weren't disavowing at all.
Right, which is, that's a matter of philosophy.
Sure.
Right. I mean, Google's basically, I think John Mueller basically said at one point, yeah, like, disavowing probably has like a very minimal impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think he said that's why we hide the tool away the way that they do.
Right.
But there's different philosophies about this, so maybe they took that philosophy, which I think is legitimate.
So my point is, if
I know you're a big disavow guy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think there's a narrative. I think there's a pulse of communication that you're sending to Google regularly with that type of housekeeping. Is that's keeping the yard kept up straight, right? And I think Google appreciates that type of communication, just like updates to sitemap and this, that, and the other. But to this point, if there were no disavows at all before this disavow for Ahrefs, isn't that even a larger shock to the system?
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No. I mean, it was 3,500 links on those 3 blog posts. Yeah, that's not. But if there was no other context of disavow at all, and all of a sudden this happened, then yeah, it would know. It would be filed, be sent to an upper management because this one is completely out of the norm of what this domain's doing. Something like that.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of, like, all of a sudden you got 1 million links one day. It's the opposite of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this is a larger point with SEO studies. If you want to look at them as like the definitive truth on everything about whatever the topic is, like that's a bad way of looking at any SEO study, mine own included. If you look at them like, wow, there's something interesting in there. I think Barry Adams had a great tweet about this where he said, don't look at data or studies as like, the data is not perfect. Don't look at it. Sometimes good enough data can tell you some really cool things or point in some really cool directions, even though they're not 100% definitive. Do I think like this 100% definitively proves that links are super powerful the way that you and I might think that they are,
Right.
or not think that they are, depending on our philosophy? No, I don't think anybody at Ahrefs meant it to be that way. But if you look at it, it's like, okay, this points some really interesting things that are possibly going on in the ecosystem. I think that's the right way to look at a study like this, or in general, any SEO study.
I just like the responsiveness, and that just demonstrates where we are now, as opposed to waiting 6 months for disavow to have any type of value. Again,
but on the way back, it did. On the way back, it took a little while for Google.
Yes, it did, and it was not a flick of the switch.
So here's what I want to see.
Jacob,
I want to see someone get a page like this. It's an important page to them.
Yep.
And then go out and just load it up with terrible links. Jump on these 100 links for $5. Buy as many of those as you can, and watch it get trashed, and then disavow all those all at once and see how quickly it comes back. As opposed to because what this shows, like Morty said, this is why they used to hide the tool. He disavowed everything, and it hurt himself.
Right.
And so the whole idea is, you don't want someone who doesn't understand what the point of disavow is,
right,
to go in there and disavow good stuff.
Right.
I'd love to see a site that was ranking for something, had a lot of traffic, gets an influx of really bad links, and I don't know how long that would take to build up. Let it sit there for a while.
5 minutes.
No. You can.
I know a guy on LinkedIn.
We can do the links quick, but I'm wondering I don't know how long it would take for Google to.
Oh, right.
If we went and bought 10,000 links today for a page, how long would it take before the site was really down, and then how quickly would it rebound? That's what I want to see next. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Or you know what we can do? We can disavow just the good links and leave all the crappy links.
That's another experiment that I don't want to be part of whatsoever.
Who's your favorite client?
Wow.
Let's Mordy up their site.
Oh my gosh. Positive. Think positively, Morty. Come on.
I meant it in a positive way.
You know what's also positive? SEO chat. Each and every week. Hashtag SEO chat on Twitter's happening. And what's happening this week?
I probably should have told you before we did the show that we're on a hold until after the holidays. Each and every week, except for this week. And next week and the week after.
Maybe that's
why we're back after that.
Maybe there's a reason there's a hole in my slide.
That's why I couldn't find anything. But I did look last week when Morty said on the 9th, come back next week. We'll be back. So I thought we'll just leave it open for Morty.
But I did tweet this morning that it's on hold. Did you
use
Carolyn and I made an executive decision. I tweeted it. Yeah.
But did you use hashtag SEO chat? That's what we're asking.
Yeah, of course I hashtag. Did I not hashtag SEO? Yeah, of course I did. I did.
Oh, you did it 44 minutes ago. That's why I missed it.
I said this morning, your time I'm referring to.
No, that would have been this afternoon at 12:01.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
I'm just saying, when I prepped today's deck, I just searched for SEO chat.
You don't want to be late to any event that Jacob's holding.
That's right.
I said 7 p.m., not 7:01.
I used to work for a company. We had a morning meeting every day on the phone. It was at 8:01. Not because of me, but because someone else was like, "No one's over there by 8. Let's just make it 8:01," and that's what it became.
Oh my lord!
Wow.
All right. Well, Morty, any words of wisdom to the audience listening to your dulcet tones today?
Just what I told you in our DM earlier.
No, I can't do that, man. Tips for success. He was just giving me some tips for success.
Right. So for the audience, I'm doing a webinar for Search Engine Journal later in the week.
Right.
I believe on Wednesday. So check it out.
Or landing page.
And you sent, yeah, hey, I got to promote. I'm doing my Search Engine Journal. and you sent me a screenshot of, hey, got any tips for me? And I said, basically, in a not as toned down way, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Tips for success. #life.
See?
That's my advice to the audience. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. I believe what I told you was don't defecate where you eat. That's the way I put it.
And we're just going to stop right there because it got really weird after that. All right, Morty, thank you so much for being part of the show. Appreciate it. Make sure you check out what he's doing in socials all the time, because he's certainly lifting up a lot of the great influencers in our industry and beyond. So thanks again, sir. And that is Edge this week. Make sure you check out our weekly interview podcast, and we're going to be dropping the first of 2 Joe Martinez and Michelle Morgan interviews this week. So check that out. They were actually here in studio. We had a great time talking through everything PPC and all the changes in PPC. And there's so much more even now since we recorded. So check that out and track their Paid Media Pros channel on YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updated whenever we drop our videos as well as our live streams in that channel. From all of us over at Edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not forget to use the cyber grip. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.